What support is the police given to the implementation of the law, the anti-open grazing law in Benue State? Is this something that the police thinks needs to be supported? Do you see it as a solution, or do you also see it as adding to the conflict?
Thank you so much. We don't have any right to say we are not going to support any law. Any law that's a federal law, LFN, any law that is made by state, either even by law, by local government, even in the community where people come together and the leadership of the community said this is the way to go. Like I give you an example, even when you look at international law, it's like picking a cutlass and cutting a footpath, and everybody is compelled to pass a footpath. So if that is the practice, the norms of the people, we should enforce it for them. So, but when you look at a state, there are a lot of issues which outcome of investigation will actually reveal. How people are supposed to ensure that when they observe, you say you have a guard, if you have a guard in this studio, is to observe and report back to the police that will probably do the appropriate thing. If such a guard is armed with AK-47 rifle, which is a sophisticated weapon, how do you control that? How do you prevent such AK-47 from going to wrong hand? There are a lot of militia groups equally in Benue State, and we are looking at all those areas to ensure that the actual perpetrator of this mayhem are promptly arrested. So anybody that is making a call for any ultimatum should have to put that into consideration.
CSP, you've touched on this idea, this reality rather, that some of the political leaders have made utterances that have complicated your work. Now, I want to know, how has it complicated your work, number one, and number two, are you seeing, at least at the state government level, state governments working at cross purposes in terms of putting these issues to an end across borders?
Thank you so much. What I mean by saying that some people issue some inciting statement and probably statement that no statesmanship is not that they've complicated our work. They've complicated the situation. Our work is not complicated. You have investigation. We have responsibility to prevent the occurrence of crime, no matter what, whether it is a crisis level or probably at individual level where people go to commit crime. But the people generally have leadership, and leadership of the people who have to take it to heart that the security and safety of their people they are leading is paramount to them. The peace, to have peace is cheap, but to have crisis is expensive, because people life will be lost, and it's going to take back the developmental strategy or whatsoever that any state is putting in place. And security is paramount. If you downplay security in any state, then you are drawing down development and you are putting people's lives at jeopardy.
Mr. Moshood, let me take you up on this comment. You talked about militia groups. You said there are different militia groups in Benue State, and you talked about giving AK-47 to guards. The guards you're referring to, are those the people who were set up to maintain the anti-grazing law?
Yes, we have.
Are they armed with AK-47 rifles?
They were armed with AK-47. The Inspector General of Police went there, and we have records, we have footage, and you can't just start arming people in any organization that you are setting up. Before you can carry firearms, must be approved by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That's a direct.
Yes, that's where I'm going. And it shouldn't be a prohibited firearm. When you don't draw the state into the Nigerian police into this, and you harm people, you turn them to militias, because you don't control what they do with these firearms. And even before now, prominently, Ghana has been looked for by the police for a very long period of time. And the Zakibian killing, the one that happened, and police intervened, we're still after him and this group. And initially, if you look at that incident, people were quickly jumped to the conclusion that it's S-Men, but when he claimed responsibility and all the investigation pointed to him, then those who are championing that backed down, and we're still looking for him.
This is a direct, CSP, this is a direct contradiction of the Benue State Governor, Samuel Ortom. After he spoke with President Buhari at the villa, he was very unequivocal about stating that none of these ranch guards had weapons. You are now disputing that account directly.
Yes, I'm disputing that. I'm disputing that because we have evidence that they were armed with AK-47 rifle. And it is equally important for people to know that we are investigating that. We must know the source of this AK-47 rifle. Because AK-47 rifle is a rifle, though it's a light weapon, but can lead to killings of several, can lead to killing of several people. And prohibited firearm is equally under the category of prohibited firearm. So, and equally, those that are paraded by the military, you see that with the AK-47 rifle.
Well, just quickly, we also understand that the policemen who have been deployed have not been paid their allowance. How true is this?
No, it would be wrong for anybody to say policemen that have been deployed have been paid allowance. Allowance, every policeman is entitled to a salary, and that salary is a wide range emolument which comprises other allowances. It's not just the basic salary. And if you are deployed for a special operation, you have a special operation allowance.
Have they been paid? Special operation
is
allowance?
it up to a month that they are deployed? So when you are going to pay allowance, you pay allowance on monthly basis. All that responsibility have been taken care of. So it would be wrong for anybody to say, you have not been deployed for 2 weeks or for about a week and it's not been paid allowance. You have your salary, and as a police officer, you have to serve anywhere in the country where the call comes up and where you have been deployed.
Well, we sincerely hope that the officers will be motivated to do the job.
No, they have been motivated.
Which they have been deployed
the morale
to
of officers and men.
Well, we sincerely have to go.
Their morale is very high, and we
have to thank you most kindly for coming on Sunrise Daily. Mr. Jimoh Moshood is the first Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Police Force. Sunrise Daily will continue in just a moment. Please stay with us.